All the makings of a good one here in northern Florida today. They say it's 60. It is dropping considerably. The wind gusting out of the southwest. They say by tonight 27 degrees. Frost warnings here in Florida. Josh Scobie will kick off for the Jaguars. And deep back is the electrifying rookie out of Clemson, Jacoby Ford, who has 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this season. The wind at the back of the Jaguars. Jacksonville and the Raiders. And away we go from Everbank Field. He's going to leave it in the end zone. Ford will watch the touchback take their quarterback, Jason Campbell, 1st and 10 to the 20-yard line. You like this guy?
Well, I like him because they use him, I think, in a very intelligent way. Off the play action pass, the running game really starts it and gets it going for the Oakland Raiders, and Campbell can take advantage of it.
Raiders in this quarter will be going up against the wind. They're going to begin with a couple of tight ends, Miller and Myers. From their own 21st and 10. That is caught. Meager gain. Kirk Morrison makes the tackle on running back Darren McFadden for a gain of 2 to the 22-yard line. The Raiders on their offensive line start a rookie at the left tackle of all positions, Valdir, who has held his own. He's played virtually every position on that line this season. And then, of course, McFadden, such a big, important player. 97 yards on the ground last week against the Chargers. 2nd down and 8. McFadden. Bottom of that pile, they had Alou, who's a rookie on the defensive line. It is a pickup of 4. He's up to the 26-yard line. Let's talk about that defense. Terrence Knighton is in his 2nd season. The tackles have made all the difference on that line. He is the anchor. We talked about Kirk Morrison. He grew up a Raider fan. His dad has season tickets. He was traded to Jacksonville in the offseason. And Considine will be starting at the strong safety, taking the place of the injured Courtney Green. First possession of the game, 3rd and 4. The nickel in the secondary for the Jaguars. Almost picked off, incomplete. Looking for Chaz Schillings. The coverage on the play, Solomon, by Rasheed Mathis. 3 and out. The Raiders have got a punt.
And Mathis is locked in on the route run by Schillings. And watch how he knifes in front of the wide receiver. He beats him to the point of intercept. Nearly came away with the ball. And Campbell's got to be very careful working against these veteran corners, particularly Rasheed Mathis.
Leckler to punt, and deep back Mike Thomas at the 25-yard line for the Jaguars. Poor punt. Virtually no hang time, and there it goes. We said it was into a wind, and it is stiff. Williams catches the ball on the ground, on a bounce, a 41-yard punt. Hang time under 3 seconds, which takes us to Jacksonville quarterback David Garrard, number 3 in completion percentage in the NFL.
You know, he's going to get a lot of man-to-man coverage from the Oakland Raiders. One thing to look for, David Garrard, his mobility. When the defenders turn their backs to him in man-to-man coverage, look for him to take off and run where he can make some big plays picking up 1st down.
We got 2 running quarterbacks today, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely, but David Garrard is at a whole nother level from Jason Campbell.
Number 1, in fact, is Garrard since 2007 in the NFL. He's got it 1st and 10 from his own 33. And the end around to Thomas. Oh, reading it well was Huff. Michael Huff shooting through, throws him for a loss on the play. Back to the 25, loss of 7. Former 1st-round pick out of Texas, and Manawai playing the best left guard he has played in a couple years. That line has stayed basically intact. And you see the names, the weapons for quarterback David Garrard. Maurice Jones-Drew coming off a terrific game, a career-high 186 yards on the ground a week ago. It's 2nd down and 18 from the 25. 4 defensive backs. Maurice Jones-Drew and the rookie out of Texas, Lamar Houston, limits him to a gain of 1. Now 3rd and long coming up. What about that Raider defensive line? Seymour's presence has been so terrific both on and off the field. What a great addition. You see Ricky Brown starting for the injured rookie Rolando McClain. Tendonitis in that foot, will not play, of course. And here in the secondary, Asamoah basically closes down a quarter of the field. as good a lockdown corner as you'll find in the league. Here's a 3rd and 17 coming up for Jacksonville. Up the middle they come with pressure, throwing it away. There was Seymour pushing the pocket. They spotted a receiver. It was not intentional grounding. It's like the Raiders before them, 3 and out for the Jags.
Well, they get pressure in the face of the quarterback, and it was 3rd down and forever. 3rd and 17. Jack Del Rio knows that he won't be able to convert it. They try to go with a screen, but look at the pressure from Houston, some from Seymour and Shaughnessy. This defensive line, they're big, they're tall, very hard to find receivers wide open down the field.
So here's the punt now from Jacksonville. Johnny Lee Higgins back at the 30-yard line. Owens has got a beat on him. He's a great special teams player. Nice tackle. 1-yard gain. Montel Owens was right there. 44-yard punt. That was by Adam Podlich. Another try for Campbell and the Raider O when we come back. And tonight on The Amazing Race, it's a race to the finish line. Will an all-female team win for the first time ever? Don't miss the season finale of The Amazing Race after 60 minutes tonight only on CBS. This game has a playoff-type feel to it, doesn't it?
Both coaches expect a hard-fought 4-quarter, tough physical football game. And, you know, for Tom Cable, he said for us, it's about intensity. He wants to get off to a fast start here on the East Coast, where it's 10 a.m. back in Oakland.
Barnes is that tackle eligible on the left side. 1st and 10. Nice tackle inside by Jeremy Mincy. It was on McFadden. It's a loss of a yard back to the 30-yard line.
Remember, both teams come in wanting to run the football. The Oakland Raiders and the Jacksonville Jaguars, they averaged a combined total of 105 rushing attempts last week in week 13. And so the ability to run the ball is paramount for both football teams.
Barnes is out. They bring in the fullback, and that's the very effective Marcel Reese, 2nd and 11. McFadden, Langston Walker offering a block, and then you see the subsequent tackle. Knighton was jumping on the pile. It's a gain of 3. Saleh, he's out to the 33-yard line.
And we told you Darren McFadden wants to get outside, and watch how they're able to run through the gaps, even though he wants to get out here. But when the linebackers can get penetration, get to the 2nd level, and then the defensive linemen do a good job allowing those linebackers to run, and that means they're going to do a really good job against this offense of the Oakland Raiders. So it starts with the ability to convert 3rd downs, but you have to have huge chunks of yards on 1st and 2nd down.
Middleton is the 5th defensive back on 3rd down and 8 from the 33. They'll deal with the block. That's a 1st down catch and run by the running back, McFadden, galloping down with the free clock downfield, and it is a touchdown! What a great play! 67-yard catch and run with a terrific block by receiver Louis Murphy, and the Raiders have struck once with a big-time play by running back Darren McFadden.
Give credit. Now watch this. This is the matchup you want right there. In space against linebackers. Darren McFadden. He makes Sean Considine miss, and then watch the block down the field by the wide receiver Louis Murphy. Springs McFadden into the end zone. But good read by their quarterback Jason Campbell to recognize the matchup advantage they had against the linebacker.
Career long catch by McFadden. Janikowski makes it 7-0 Raiders. What a play with blocking downfield. A 67-yard catch and run. And the Raiders on top, 7-0. McFadden with his 3rd touchdown reception of the season.
Well, Darren McFadden can make some plays. We said it in the open that he can run it and catch it out of the backfield. He's their 2nd leading receiver, so the Jaguars shouldn't be surprised.
And the kickoff to Deji Kareem, blocked by Owens. And a run up the sideline, as you can see, and it's a 28-yard return. Bruce Davis makes the stop, and let's see how the Jaguars now respond.
Okay. Yep. Welcome back. We're going to show you exactly what happened on that play. And this is Aaron Morgan, and then this is Daryl Smith. They have in and out man-to-man coverage on Darren McFadden coming out of the backfield. But then watch Morgan, 97. He's going to drop coverage right there. You have to go ahead and cover him, but once he gets past you, Daryl Smith is in chase. Then he throws a move on Sean Considine, picks up a block from Lewis Murphy, and into the end zone.
It's a 1st and 10 handoff to Maurice Jones-Drew, and from behind, looked like Desmond Bryant brings him down. Gain of 3, 36-yard line. See the 3-and-out story.
Well, that means the Raiders are off to a good start because they pitched a 3-and-out. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're best in the NFL. Only 9 3-and-outs all season long. The 10th came on that first possession of the game. And I got news for you. Jack Del Rio has to be concerned because coming into today's game, his team had scored on the opening possession of the game for 5 consecutive weeks, and they go 3-and-out here today against the Raiders.
2nd down and 7. Maurice Jones-Drew. Jones with the block. Into the secondary. Stevie Brown knocks him out of bounds. A 9-yard run to the 46-yard line and a 1st down.
Well, he may be little, but he's not small, and he's strong and powerful. Watch it. Only one man left standing after that blow. 5'7", 208 pounds. But short doesn't mean small. And he finishes runs as well as any running back in the NFL.
Tommy Kelly is out. John Henderson on that defensive line for the Raiders. 1st down and 10. Houston had a beat on the quarterback, Mike Sims Walker. Wide receiver brought down by Ricky Brown. Another 1st down. A catch and run to the 41-yard line. Pickup of 13 yards.
And a well-designed play. We said they were going to use David Garrard to get out of the pocket. You saw the mobility there, getting to the edge and allowing receivers to get open. He's not that tall of a quarterback. And remember, the defensive linemen for the Raiders, they're very tall. You're talking 6'4", 6'5", 6'8", and John Henderson. So you get Garrard out of the pocket, he can see down the field.
1st and 10. Jones a block. Maurice Jones-Drew. Tyvon Branch got him from behind. Gain of 5 down to the Raider 36.
Well, we're going to keep our eyes on Greg Jones today. As much as Maurice Jones-Drew is able to get to the 2nd level, I think he's got an excellent fullback in Greg Jones, throwing blocks to get him to the next level. And, you know, Jack Del Rio challenged Maurice Jones-Drew to get 150 yards in a game. And the fullback, Greg Jones, the offensive line, they all took that personal. And what did he do? 186 yards last week against the Titans.
Kelly back in on the defensive line for the Raiders. 2nd down and 5. Potter with the block. He had a little chip. And then they go on the side, as you can see. Route was defending the receiver, Mike Sims Walker. 3rd and 5.
See, they want to get the tight end out right here, but see, you got to hit him. See how they hit him? They knock him off course. Lamar Houston does a good job of knocking Zach Miller off course, so they have forced to throw the ball to the perimeter. And so Garrard really had nowhere to go with the ball because Houston not only took away his primary receiver, still got a hit on the quarterback and good coverage on the back end in the secondary.
True defensive back out there is Chris Johnson. 3rd down and 5. Here they come. They had 4 sacks last week. Shaughnessy was right up there. And Tommy Kelly, that knocks him out of field goal range effectively. Back to the 44. Garrard is sacked. Loss of 8. They got a punt.
They got to do something to slow down this huge, massive defensive line. Look, 3 Oakland Raiders in the backfield on top of David Garrard. Look, there's penetration coming from everywhere, up the middle, off the corners. And Jordan Black can't hold up. He's replacing Eben Britton at the right tackle position, but so much leakage up front on that offensive line.
Cam Wimbley was in there as well. Here's the Padres punt. Johnny Lee Higgins is deep back at about the 8. That ball was kicked in by Osgood, the Pro Bowl special teams player, and saved at about the 5. 42-yard punt. Osgood playing like he normally does. Great on special teams. With a nice win last week in San Diego, and Jason Campbell, in the words of Tom Cable, really played about the best he's played at that position this year for Oakland.
Absolutely, and now today, not only as a football team, they've got to prove they can bounce back from a successful performance against San Diego.
Bush in the backfield. Marcel Reese is the fullback, and he was hit by Carey. Brought down by Durant after a gain of 1 on that 1st and 10. Make it 2nd down and 9.
So much of the energy and focus of the Oakland Raiders was trying to move on from a really wonderful performance against San Diego. They swept the Chargers for the first time in forever.
Right.
And remember, earlier this year, they broke that 18-game, or I should say 13-game losing streak. And so now they have to be able to move on from such a really good performance, get off to a fast start for Tom Cable on the East Coast.
Usable on the defensive line for Jacksonville. 2nd down and 9. Michael Bush out of Louisville. Nice play right there. Morrison makes his 2nd solo tackle today. It's a gain of 2. He's up to the 8.
Morrison is a former Oakland Raider. Spent his first 5 seasons in the NFL playing for the Oakland Raiders. Grew up in the Bay Area. We talked to him, and he said he knew something had to happen in the offseason with the uncertainty of the collective bargaining agreement. He felt that the Jacksonville Jaguars were the right team for him. 4-3 defense and playing for Jack Del Rio. That's what he wanted.
Bush will be one of those 3 receivers there. Bottom of your screen. 3rd and 7. The nickel in place defensively for the Jaguars. Incomplete. They were looking for Ford, but coverage by Middleton. He was the extra defensive back. It's 3 and out for Oakland.
Oh, Middleton is tight in coverage in Jacoby Ford. Coming across right here on that slant route. Now watch him. Rip down the arms, get into the wide receiver. That ball should have been intercepted. Talk about it in your defensive back meetings. You intercept all tips and overthrows. Ball come off the hand of the receivers. You like to see your DBs come away with it.
Leckler into the wind. High. Fair caught. Midfield. Mike Thomas. Hang time of 4-7. 42-yard punt. So here come the Jaguars with good beginning field position. Down by a touchdown to the Raiders. Raiders are tied for number 1 in sacks coming into today. The defensive coordinator's John Marshall.
Well, Marshall, he's teeing off right now on a mobile quarterback like David Garrard. His defensive line is getting after it.
1st down and 10. Maurice Jones-Drew. Hit by Bryant and John Henderson on that line. It's a gain of 1 to the 49.
It all starts with the defensive line for the Oakland Raiders, as we talked about. Look at them getting penetration, even by blitzing their safety. And then you've got Lamar Houston, Richard Seymour, Tommy Ellis, Matt Shaughnessy. Big physical defensive linemen who have taken control of the game early on for John Marshall. 37 sacks so far this season, including that one you saw on David Garrard. Tied for most in the NFL, and it ties their season total for all of last season.
2nd down and 9. Good block by Monroe, and this is what Garrard does so well. He got a block from Jones-Drew. He's to the 42. He's hit on the play by Cam Wembley. A scramble of 6 as we scramble to our CBS studios in James Brown.
Kevin and Solomon take a look at the Atlanta Falcons getting it done in the 1st quarter of play. Matt Ryan hooking up with this key play here. 46-yarder to Harry Douglas. That sets up, that is, a 1-yard Michael Turner TD dash. His 9th rushing touchdown. 14-0 Falcons over Carolina. Kevin Harlan and Solomon Wilcox.
Maybe the class of the NFC, the Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons, if they win and get some help, they could clinch a playoff berth.
It's 3rd and 3. Jones-Drew diving for the stick. Route brings him down, and I think he's got it. A gain of 3. He's to the 40. They'll move the chains. It's important 1st down for Maurice Jones-Drew.
Well, he knows how to explode. As Tom Cable said, he explodes on you after hiding behind those offensive linemen. And look at Stanford route. He can make the hit, but he can't keep Maurice Jones-Drew from hitting that 1st down mark. Powerful runner. Even for a short-statured guy, he finishes very strong.
It's 1st down and 10. Good block by Manawai. Incomplete. They were looking for Zach Miller, their rookie. Incomplete.
It's the matchup they were looking for. Stevie Brown, a safety in coverage on their fast tight end.
Holding number 34. Defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Mike Mitchell.
And wow, David Garrard's lucky to pick up a first down because he missed a sure opportunity for a touchdown. He missed Zach Miller running wide open down the middle of the field. And Mike Mitchell grabs hold of a guy in coverage. And they also had Stevie Brown beaten in coverage.
Here we got the Raiders, number 1 in penalty yards and penalties in the NFL. And the second fewest penalty yards in the NFL, Jacksonville. They're pretty clean on that side.
Yeah, and the Raiders have doubled the amount of penalties that the Jacksonville have had all season.
1st and 10. Maurice Jones-Drew. Brought down on the play by the rookie out of ASU, Travis Gaethel. It is no gain. They stay at the 35-yard line. You vote, they play. Send your favorite players to the 2011 Pro Bowl. Vote online or on your mobile phone. Voting ends Monday, December 20th. Go to NFL.com/Pro Bowl or search Pro Bowl ballot and vote today. 2nd down and 10.
One thing that's surprising is you look at the fans voting for Pro Bowl is that Maurice Jones-Drew lags behind a lot of running backs in the AFC that he's much more productive in, and that's very surprising.
Well, they're looking for Jones-Drew, but that was quickly shut down on the side. Michael Huff was over there.
David Garrard is taking a beating from this defensive line. They sniffed out this possible screen play at the top of the screen. They wanted to go backside to Maurice Jones-Drew. They had it covered. That bought time for Lamar Houston to get to the quarterback David Garrard and plants him into the ground. And maybe they threw the flag on him. I'm not sure.
After the play, they threw it.
Intentional grounding on the quarterback. There's no eligible receiver in the area. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. The down will count. 3rd down.
Boy, last week this defense of the Raiders harassed Phillip Rivers of San Diego, sacking him, including Houston, with one of those sacks 4 times last week.
And they're playing a different, here you go right there, a different kind of quarterback this week. Phillip Rivers is a more pocket passer. You know he's not going to change the launch point with his mobility, but David Garrard is a guy who can scramble, so it's a huge challenge, I believe, for the Oakland Raiders defense. And Jack Del Rio said that these are big physical guys, and we hope we can block them. So far, they haven't been able to keep them off the quarterback.
6 defensive backs, 3rd and 22. They need the 25. They had a linebacker, Brown, and he was downfield watching the running back, Rashad Jennings, incomplete. 4th and 22. They got a punt.
Brown actually did a really good job in coverage. You'll see the running back working right up the middle of the field. Look at him, man to man. They leave Ricky Brown on the running back. In my mind, you've got to find a way to throw that ball to give Jennings a chance to either make a play or draw a pass interference penalty on Ricky Brown, who never turned around and found the football.
So the penalty takes him out of field goal range right there. They had a problem before that took him out of field goal range on the sack. Podlish with the punt. Johnny Lee Higgins, a late signal, but fair caught at the 11-yard line, 35-yard punt. And a little scrum. We've seen a couple of these little skirmishes begin after plays today. This is the 2nd one we have seen. As they got to clear the sideline. So Jacksonville with a penalty and a sack, wiping out 2 drives where they could have kicked a field goal.
Kevin,
so the Raiders get it back.
There's some surprise teams in the National Football League this year. We're going to show you some of them because I think Chicago Bears leading the NFC North at 9-3 is a surprise. How about the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West after a 4-12 record a year ago? And then the Rams, even at 6-6, they lead their division. Remember, they went 1-15 last year. So we're talking about some of the all-time comebacks for football teams in terms of where they won 1 year ago. And then in 1986 was the only time all 3 of those teams made the playoffs in the same season.
Raiders 1st and 10. McFadden, who's got a catch and run for a touchdown today. Forced out of bounds. Have some blockers ahead. Wheels his way to about the 18-yard line. Picks up 7. One more thing about this. Morrison drove him out of bounds. One more thing about about where they are, these Raiders. They need to really make up one game on the Chiefs in the next 3 weeks. And, of course, that big finale in Arrowhead the last week of the regular year.
And if they keep running the ball like what you just saw with Darren McFadden, whether it's Michael Bush, I think they can get there. They are running the ball as well as any team in the National Football League. Come in today's game ranked 3rd overall in their ability to run the football.
On 2nd down and 3. Play action by Campbell, which he does so well. Zach Miller, the tight end. Rasheem Mathis, flag thrown out to the 28, picks up 10. Miller playing with a bad foot. He is the go-to receiver, but he's been a little bit hobbled.
Zach Miller for the Raiders is not to be confused with the tight end, who's also Zach Miller for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Illegal formation. Number 70 was at the end of the line, uncovered. 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
Langston Walker, the right tackle.
Oh, he's uncovered. They're talking about, look, right here. And so the tight end has to be up on the line of scrimmage. Zach Miller there because there's no wide receiver out here on the perimeter. Another penalty for Tom Cable's group. 52 penalties this season.
Second down and 8. McFadden driving his way in, top of the pile. They had Justin Durant. It is a meager gain of 2 up to the 15-yard line.
Oh, if you're the Oakland Raiders, I think you've got to calm down. They've had a number of penalties this year, and they have to do a better job of just not having the self-inflicting wounds. Tom Cable talked about it. He says, yeah, we teach that you have to play aggressive, but more than anything, you have to play smart.
Middleton, the extra defensive back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is 3rd down and 6 for the Raiders. He gets away from Morgan, and then he's brought down by the extra D-back Middleton. A loss of 8, all the way back to about the 7. They got to punt the ball.
Watch 97. Look at Morgan coming right off the corner from the right side. Look at that play. And that is just a wonderful move because once you force the quarterback to step up into the pocket, and you're going to get pressure on 3rd and long from the Jacksonville Jaguars out of what we call their sub package when they bring in 5 defensive backs. And if you're Campbell, you got to know, get rid of the football.
Leckler, number 2 in gross, number 4 in net. Driving Thomas all the way back to the 43. Room to roam, and then belted by Sam Williams. And they're into Raider territory at the 45. That's a 50-yard punt and a 12-yard return. Tomorrow on CBS, it's holiday season in Hawaii. But to solve this case, Hawaii 5-0 will need more than a miracle. Don't miss a new episode of TV's #1 news show. Hawaii 5-0, that's tomorrow, and it's only on CBS. So it has not been a lack of good beginning field position for the Jaguars. They've just had some miscues. They had a sack that knocked them out of field goal range in their first possession, and a penalty knocked them out of field goal range in the last possession.
And it's surprising because we talked about how good they've been able to score on that opening possession.
On that 1st and 10.
False start. Number 71. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Raiders have had the ball 4 times, and you see the guilty party right there, Newary. Raiders have had it 4 times, 3 and outs, and then a 67-yard catch and run by McFadden. Now back to the 50, 1st and 15. Monroe with a good block, setting up the screen pass. Manawai was out there for Maurice Jones-Drew. Read beautifully on the play, and only a gain of 1. Ricky Brown was out there, and again, as we began our broadcast today, taking the place of the injured man in the middle, Rolando Blackman. I'm thinking basketball. Rolando McClain, the rookie out of Alabama. But he plays with the length of a Rolando Blackman.
I remember Ronaldo Blackman.
Sure.
He was a great player in the NBA.
That's the end of our first quarter here with a touchdown run by the running back who scares everybody in the NFL, McFadden. The end of 1, it's the Raiders on top, 7-0. With the numbers from our first quarter, we start the second quarter. Jacksonville only averaging, you see, under 2 yards per play. Second down and 14. He's got his receiver, the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. And brought down on the play by Tyvon Branch in the secondary. A pickup of 20. Garrard right on the money. 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line.
And watch, look at Lewis. He's working against Tyvon Branch, the safety. We said that the tight ends for the Jacksonville Jaguars are really going to be the focus of their passing offense. We saw Garrard miss an attempt down the middle of the field to Zach Miller. They go back over the middle, working against the safety Tyvon Branch to Mercedes Lewis. They want these tight ends to have a huge day catching the ball.
1st down and 10. They got a linebacker. Gaithel here watching a tight end. Bottom of your screen, Maurice Jones-Drew. Knocked out of bounds by Cam Wembley. And that catch and run close to a 1st down. The 20-yard line of the Raiders, a pickup of 9.
It's a pick by your 6'9" tight end over on the left side of the screen. And you can see Lewis sort of rubbed off on Branch in coverage. And they actually are going to use some of these defensive ends like Lamar Houston to try to cover Maurice Jones-Drew in space. Can you believe that?
Jacksonville's had it 3 previous times, punting each time. 2nd down and 1 right here. Multiple in the secondary for the Raiders. And there's a tackle by Gaithel. Coming through, he's out of Arizona State. No gain on the play for the 2nd leading rusher in the NFL, Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, you know, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they feel that some of the defensive players for the Oakland Raiders, like Cameron Wembley, who's playing linebacker on this team but is originally a defensive end. Quentin Groves, who used to play with these same Jacksonville Jaguars, played at the defensive end position, what will be playing linebacker in this game. They believe that the tight ends can win against some of the bigger people for the Raiders in man-to-man.
Osmawai is out, 3rd and 1. And they may have gotten the 1st down. They did with a gain of 3. He's down to about the 16-yard line as they unravel the pile. And again, more shoving after the play as Garrard takes it. Like we said earlier on, he is a great runner. We've already seen him scramble for a nice gain earlier today. And last week he was very efficient in that win over Tennessee up in Nashville.
Oh, absolutely. I think his ability to convert on 3rd and 1, whenever he's running the football, he's converted 21 of his last 23. Now 22 of his last 24. So he's real good in those situations.
This is Jennings in the backfield getting a block from Jones. 1st and 10 run. And Huff got him from behind just outside the goal line. 16-yard carry. We keep talking about the 1-2 punch of the Raiders. They got another 1-2 punch in Jacksonville, and Rashad Jennings is the guy.
And watch Jennings. He bounces it outside. Once they are able to knock defenders on the ground, excellent block. And then he just gets it to the corner with speed. Huff saves the touchdown with an excellent tackle. And if you're Jennings, you've got to finish that into the end zone.
How about the block by Jones, the fullback?
Oh, I just thought it was excellent. And we said that he's very good at getting the runner to the next level.
Jones-Drew back in, 1st and goal. Touchdown. Mercedes Lewis working on Branch. A career-high 9 touchdown receptions for the former college tight end of the year, the Mackey Award winner out of UCLA, Mercedes Lewis.
It's the tight end. Lewis comes all the way clear from the other side. And we said that the tight ends were going to be a huge presence in the passing game, working against the Raiders safeties and linebackers. Lewis pays huge dividends. He's a find inside the end zone.
Scobie for the tie. Capping a 7-play, 45-yard drive. There was a catch by Lewis at 20, a 16-yard run by Jennings, and then Mercedes Lewis lassoing this 1-yard touchdown pass here in Jacksonville. First place Jaguars in the AFC South. Winning 4 of their last 5. Garrard with a touchdown pass moments ago to Mercedes Lewis.
And the efficiency of David Garrard on that possession, 4 for 4, including the touchdown pass to Lewis, shows that his offense is beginning to heat up.
Scobie with the kickoff. Jacoby Ford. Eugene with the block. Montel Owens right there with the 15-yard return. by Ford making the stop. First of all, it was Lewis for 20. Then a 16-yard rambling run by Jennings. Then Lewis finishes it off. Festive Jacksonville. Each quarterback has thrown a touchdown pass today. Another possession for the Raiders. This is their 5th of the afternoon from the 18-yard line, 1st and 10. Kildare with the block at the left tackle. Right on the money. That's caught across the way by Darius Hayward-Bay. Coverage on the play by Cox. Pickup of 16, a first down, and a look at the AFC playoff picture.
Oh, Jacksonville, they control their own fate, particularly in the tough AFC South division. They went out, they win a division title, and they have a tough game coming up next week in Indianapolis. The Colts, they've already beaten them once this year. They're looking for a clean sweep.
C.J. Mosley is coming on that defensive line for the Jaguars. It is a 1st and 10 for the Raiders. McFadden. He's trying to give a block and does, and then the aforementioned C.J. Mosley out of Missouri. Limits him to a gain of 5 to the 39. We bring in James Brown from New York.
Kevin and Solomon. Buffalo's Ryan Fitzpatrick continuing a very impressive year. Hooking up here with David Nelson. That capped the 14-play, 89-yard drive. TD pass in 14 straight games by Fitzpatrick. Kevin and Solomon.
Nelson, a rookie free agent out of Florida. 2nd down and 5. McFadden. Lead block from Reese, the fullback, in a pickup of 2, carving his way to the 41.
The Raiders desperately trying to get something going in the running game. Got to believe that, you know, what we're seeing so far is that this Jacksonville defense, they've been up to the challenge here in the early going. Now they have to hold up on the back end.
I know you kind of like the mantra, Tom Cable. Let's cut it loose. Let's let it rip. Let's play free and easy.
Yeah, they want to run the football, make no bones about it. But sooner or later, Jason Campbell's going to have to make plays throwing the football, even on 3rd and 3.
Campbell looking into 5 defensive backs. Chased by Cox, the cornerback. McFadden hit by Durant. Lassoed by Considine to the 45. Boy, he got bailed out by the ever-present McFadden. A 16-yard catch and run.
And yeah, and you're talking about getting out on the move. They're doing more of this with Campbell. Holds this ball to the last minute. Takes one in the chops, but still is able to complete the pass to Darren McFadden. And that's taking one for the team because Campbell was creamed on the play.
Aaron Morgan got him solid.
Watch that. He planted it over on that sideline, and Darren McFadden is shaken up a bit.
Here's the first play run in Jacksonville territory today by the Raiders. Bush is in. 1st and 10. Wide open across the way. The electrifying Ford. Cox brings him down. 16-yard line. 27-yard pickup and a Raider 1st down.
Well, the arm of Jason Campbell, but then what about the route running up top? This is just a 7 route backside. And watching, he acts like he's coming inside, but then he goes outside. Look at the separation there by Jacoby Ford. Getting separation from the defensive back, and then what a throw by Campbell, clear to the other side of the field, outside the number.
18th reception of the season for the rookie. Ford has got a couple of 100-yard receiving games this season. McFadden is back in. 1st and 10. Darren McFadden. Miller, the tight end, with the block downfield, as did Lewis Murphy. Did he get in? A flag has been thrown. Out of bounds, shy of the goal line. No call made. Holding is the call.
Holding, number 80, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Zach Miller, one of 2 receiving tight end blocks downfield.
Well, Zach Miller has got to do a better job. You see the hole right there. That's just, yeah, you grabbed him. Why would you do that? That's just a silly penalty. And good effort by McFadden to keep both feet in bounds and still hit the inside of the pylon.
This should be a spot foul. It's at the 18.
And they'll still have a 1st down.
Yep. 1st down and 13 to go. Bush is back in the backfield. Wow. Look at the pressure. Down he goes. Don Carey from the safety comes up, throws him for a loss of 7 back to the 25.
Oh, we talk about playing smart. Watch Aaron Morgan, the defensive end, and watch, look, number 92. He's able to get up the field. That keeps Campbell inside the pocket, and that's
Penalty.
Austin Lane.
Automatic first down.
Austin Lane's taking the place of the injured Aaron Cameron, who's out with an ACL. Another flag was thrown.
Lane just did a good job of keeping Campbell inside the pocket. He wanted to get outside, but once Lane kept his path up the field, forced Campbell back inside, the rest of the pass rush, the pressure was able to get to him, coming right in his face.
Illegal contact was the call. Penalty takes him to the 13. It was on the Jaguars. It was on Cox. 1st and 10. McFadden. Not a whole lot there. Knighton brings him down after a gain of 1. Put him at about the 12.
Terrence Knighton, big interior defensive lineman in his 2nd year from Temple. You can see the worry on Tom Cable's face, but it was Knighton who got this team together after Kansas City had just gashed them for over a couple of 100 yards rushing. They lose Aaron Kaplan for the season. Everyone's hanging their head. How about a 2nd-year guy like Terrence Knighton rallying the troops, and from then on, they really performed well against the run.
2nd down the long 9. That's the tight end, Zach Miller. And wrestled down on the play by Don Carey. Squirming is Miller to the 7 and a pickup of 7 yards for the Raiders.
And if you're Carey, number 22, watch him in coverage against Miller at the top here. You've got to shrink the cushion. You cannot allow that much room, particularly for a tight end inside the red area. It's just too easy of a throw for Campbell and too easy of a catch for Miller.
And that's a quarterback on a tight end.
Yeah, and that's why you expect tighter coverage. If it's against a linebacker, you might understand. But Carey, he's got the quick feet. He can cover better than that.
Carey, a former cornerback, now playing safety. 3rd and 3. Oh, here comes the direct, and it goes with the Wildcat snap to Ford. Brought down by the aforementioned Don Carey, who is throwing him for a loss back to the 8.
If you're Carey and you're fast enough to catch Jacoby Ford, that's why we'd say he's got the quick feet. Look at the speed and his ability to close on Jacoby Ford. Remember, Jacoby Ford, 4.2 in the 40, was the fastest time at the scouting combine camp last February.
So Carey showing some of that cornerback speed there, although they moved him earlier in the season to safety. Here is a 26-yard field goal try by Sebastian Janikowski, and this will be for the lead. 10-7, the Raiders. 6.5 to play in the 2nd quarter. So here are the Raiders, who haven't won Solomon on the road in back-to-back weeks since 2001, with an early 3-point lead on Jacksonville, the first-place team in the South.
And Tom Cable talked about it, that they have to begin the game with greater intensity. I think they've done that here today. They have to be able to sustain it throughout the football game.
Deji Kareem will get this, vacuuming it in at the 1-yard line for Jacksonville. And he was upended by Rod Cartwright. 23-yard return. Here comes David Garrard, who threw a touchdown pass the last time out there for the Jaguars. And coming up on the Sprint halftime report from our CBS studios in New York, James Brown, Dan Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Scores, news, and highlights on the Sprint halftime report. Last week, Jacksonville had a franchise record 53 rushing attempts. They've got 11 after the Raiders so far.
No, they're going to keep running, and they're not going to get away from Maurice Jones-Drew.
Jones-Drew with the block right there on 1st and 10. And he's got his tight end again. The tackle was made by Mike Mitchell. The reception by Mercedes Lewis. It's a 19-yard strike to the 43.
Offense starting to heat up against Mitchell on the crossing route. Mercedes Lewis. And this has been open all day. We showed you how they missed a throw earlier to Zach Miller, and then they start to go to Lewis. Lewis is beating these safeties repeatedly, as well as the linebackers. And with his presence and his frame over the middle of the field, makes for easy throws for the quarterback, David Garrard.
Jennings in the backfield for Jacksonville, 1st and 10. Good block by Jones, but here they come, led by Seymour downfield. I think Huff lost that ball in the Florida sun as they were going deep for Thomas.
And I think this pass should have been complete by David Garrard. He's got to get the ball further outside on the boundary. He throws it inside where Huff actually had a better chance to get it than his intended receiver. See, this ball's got to be over here and not inside. And Thomas should have been able to catch it. He got behind the defense, and look at the beating David Garrard continues to take in this game.
2nd down and 10. Jennings remains in the backfield. Lead block there by Zach Miller, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Zach Miller, and knocked out of bounds. You see Ricky Brown riding him out of bounds. Also got a belt right there defensively from Huff. It's a 13-yard pickup and a 1st down run. And they'll spot him at the 44 of the Raiders.
You know, you come into a game saying we have to stop Maurice Jones-Drew, but what about Rashard Jennings? Look at the block by Miller, getting to the feet of the linebackers enough to seal the edge where Jennings can use his speed to get outside and move the chain. So you focus on one guy, and then the backup comes in, and he starts to preach your defense running the football.
It makes it nice to have that choice, huh? 1st down and 10. It's Jennings. Houston read it well. No gain on the play. They stay at the 44-yard line. Do you get a sense that the Jaguars, I'm going to throw the Raiders in that category, are both maturing as teams?
Well, certainly the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jack Del Rio's group was one of the youngest teams in the National Football League 1 year ago. As you take a look at the rush yards and their season average, and today I think they're getting off to a good start. Already over 50 yards rushing here in the 1st half. But yes, his team is maturing. We talked about some of the young players who are emerging on defense, and then with the leadership of Maurice Jones-Drew, you can see them becoming a more complete team.
Jones-Drew back in. They're going for a little screen pass there on that 2nd down and 10. John Henderson, the ex-Jaguar, who's been battling a knee injury, is on that defensive line and providing pressure up the middle. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
And Kevin, you asked about the leadership of this team and how much they've grown. I think we're going to find out, because last year at this time they were 7-5,
right?
And now they're 7-5 again. They went 0-4 in their final 4 games. They missed the playoffs, and they really floundered down the stretch. And Jack Del Rio said, we won't do that again. You know, last year they talked about maybe possibly winning 2 of their last 4. They said, hey, we want to win every one, starting with the Oakland Raiders.
6 defensive backs, 3rd down and 10. Oh, and he's got his receiver. Bobbled. Mitchell vacuums it in. Flag down. Big hit by Branch. The catch was made by Thomas. Boy, there's about 18 things going on in that play. Garrard was whacked. We had a flag downfield.
Prior to the change of possession, holding, offense, the penalty is declined. The result of the play is the 1st down.
How about that? It was caught by Thomas. He was drilled by Branch. It was brought in by defensive back Mike Mitchell out of Ohio University, and the Raiders have the ball.
And watch it coming in from the left side of your screen, and then you're going to see the pop and the hit right here. Now, is he down? No. Ball is stripped out by Tyvon Branch. That ball was coming out before Thomas could hit the ground. It wounds up in the hands of Mike Mitchell. But watch this. This is just hit and then strip. Beautiful play by the safety Tyvon Branch, and then Mitchell comes in, and he's the recipient of Branch's hard work. It's a turnover, and Garrard takes a hit from Seymour. A little hand to the face, a little touch, but they threw the penalty flag because they called holding, which was declined.
But there should have been a penalty on Seymour, it looked like, because he got him on the head. You can't do it.
The player was ruled to be down on the field, so therefore it is a completion for the Jaguars. However, there was a holding back at the line of scrimmage. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced. Replay 3rd down.
Well, they're saying now, and yeah, if you're Tom Cable, you say, I got it. I got the red flag, because we saw it was clearly a turnover, and the officials never ruled down by contact. They actually signaled as if the ball was in possession of the Oakland Raiders once the play had concluded.
He's going to find out now if he can indeed challenge. There, well, he's going to, regardless,
no,
he's going to throw. You can challenge that.
Tom Cable saying, you guys you gave us the ball. Now you're saying that we didn't turn it over. You're saying he was, what, down by contact? They're going to force him to have to challenge it. Now there's going to be a conference.
If you can indeed challenge it. Raiders had won 3 in a row, then lost 2 in a row, then 1 last week. Found their identity by running the ball, playing a physical style. Almost the exact same words that Jack Del Rio said about his Jaguars in their win up in Nashville against the Titans last week.
Oh, absolutely. And both teams have to respond. This is a huge game for both of these football teams.
Oakland is challenging the ruling on the field of down by contact. Timeout.
There's been some hesitancy there on Tom Cable. Nonetheless, a challenge, and it comes with 4:04 to play in the first half.
As we return here to Jacksonville, Tom Cable is waiting, but we have pictures to prove that. I think this ball came out before Thomas is ruled down by contact, and you'll see the knee is yet to touch the ground. Stop it right there. Stop it there. Okay, see, the knee's not on the ground, but the ball's out. That's a turnover. And so you can't rule down by contact simply because the ball was on its way out. I think that's going to be a turnover, and based on what we see right there, the ball has to be awarded to the Oakland Raiders. Once again, we see the hit by Tyvon Branch. He comes in, he's able to pry that ball loose, which was caught, but the ball seemed to be coming out before Thomas' knee hit the ground, and so I think it's going to be ruled a turnover based on the pictures we saw.
Jacksonville is 31st in the takeaway giveaway in the NFL, -11 coming into today. Although they're a first-place team, half-game advantage on the Colts in the South. Colts played on Thursday and won. Colts are 7-6. Jacksonville 7-5. In fact, this is the latest since 1999. Latest into the season that this Jaguar team has been in first place in their division.
And they're taking a look at it, and they're talking about it. Now, remember, the ruling on the field is that Thomas was down by contact. And while they did signal that the ball was awarded to the Raiders, they're saying no, that the ball is going to be given to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So now you need the evidence, visual evidence, that clearly shows enough for them to overturn the call on the field. I think we were able to see that Thomas was not down. The knee had yet to touch the ground, but Tyvon Branch had already begun the process of prying that ball loose.
Thomas has fumbled twice this year.
As the Jacksonville player was going down, and prior to hitting the ground and complete the process, the ball was loose. Oakland intercepts the pass. They will get the ball. 1st and 10 on the 21-yard line. Please reset the clock to show 4:10. Oakland will not be charged with a timeout.
Those two guys are just they're doing the bump right
holding
there.
Penalty will also be declined.
Mitchell and Branch were the two ones that made that play happen for the Raider D.
And I thought the officials had gotten the call right initially. They did signal that the ball was going to go to the Oakland Raiders. The official came up pointing in the direction of the Raiders, but somehow after they had their conference, I think they put the onus on Coach Cable to throw out the red flag, to challenge it before they were going to award the Oakland Raiders the football.
Game's first turnover from the 21-yard line. It's Oakland 1st down and 10. Tied in 2nd place in the West with San Diego, who later today will host Kansas City with their new quarterback because of a appendectomy to Matt Castle, Brody Coyle. That's caught. The tight end Miller, the tackle by the linebacker Durant. It is a pickup of 12. It's a 1st down to the 32.
And take a look at the ability to take the football away or protect it. The Jaguars have not done a good job of that, where they are -11 in turnover differential. Very hard to win a division title or get to the postseason when you can't take the ball away and protect it. You could see the disgust on the face of head coach Jack Del Rio.
Bush is in, 1st and 10. They come around the edge. Smith can't get him. Reese, the former wide receiver at Washington, brought down again by Durant. 2nd consecutive tackle there. It's a catch and run of 11. Campbell has hit 6 consecutive passes.
Of his offensive coordinator.
It's Bush. Satelli, the center, with the block. And the tackle was made by Tyson Alualu, 1st-round pick out of Cal. It's a gain of 6. He's to midfield.
We've seen Derek McFadden in the 1st quarter, early part of the 2nd quarter. In comes Michael Bush. We talked about it at the top of the game. We said both guys are capable of running it inside. Both can go outside. Both can catch it coming out of the backfield. I think this defense for Jacksonville better be on high alert when Michael Bush comes into the ball game.
He's in now, 2nd and 4. Reese grabbed initially by Mincy. And it's a pickup of 2. He's down to the 48-yard line in Jacksonville territory, and we got about 2:17 collected. And let's step back here a little bit. What have you felt with this game with the Raiders on top by 3?
I'm very impressed with
number 69.
Okay.
That's Khalif Barnes.
That's a third person in the booth.
Yeah.
Well, I think they have done a really good job of traveling to the East Coast, and Tom Cable has his team ready to play.
They're on the move again, leading by 3. Solomon, you were talking about the play fakes that the quarterback Jason Campbell runs. You like them?
Absolutely, and everything's based off the run game. Play action pass has been very effective for Jason Campbell.
2-minute warning, 3rd down and 2 with Bush in the backfield. Reese again, hauled down by Don Carey from behind. He's got the first down all the way to the 35 of Jacksonville, a catch and run of 13.
Play action, look at the fake to Bush, but then they sneak out the fullback, Marcel Reese, out in the flat. He's very good at catching the ball, Kevin, as you well know, a former wide receiver in college. He's full grown now into a fullback, yes, but he still have the skills to catch the rock on the perimeter.
Very versatile player. Bush remains on 1st and 10, and a timeout taken by the Raiders. The first they've taken. With the clock at 1:54, Campbell working his way downfield and nursing a 3-point lead. You saw Reese pick up that first down, a catch and run of 13 yards. He likes those running backs on 3rd down, doesn't he?
I think it's the design of their offensive coordinator, Hugh Jackson. He's allowing the play action pass fakes, but they want to throw the ball to the running backs because they're so good at catching the ball out of the backfield.
You saw Thomas, who had that ball ricochet off his palms into the Raiders and set up this possession. 1st and 10. Look at the time. Good block by Barnes. Darius Hayward-Bay, his 2nd catch today, 26-yard pickup. He's down to the 11. He was working on Considine. 1st and 10.
Everything's coming off the play fake right here. Look at that. And then the crossing route on the back end. And then Sean Considine, because he's so busy checking for the run game, he doesn't see Darius Hayward-Bay running right by him through that zone of the Jacksonville Jaguar defense.
1st and 10 at the 11. 24-yard pickup through the air. 2 timeouts left for the Oakland Raiders. Bush. And a pickup of 3. I don't know if we're going to call him Alu Alu or Aluwalu. Because he's changed his name pronunciation in mid-season. Nonetheless, he makes the tackle, the 1st-round pick out of Cal, and it's a gain of 3. He's all the way down to the 8.
I love what the Oakland Raiders are doing in the final 2 minutes of the game, as you see them just really whittling time off the clock, but then just getting the huge chunks. And now Campbell's got to take a shot inside the end zone.
On 2nd down and 7. Incomplete. Even on the near side looking for Lewis Murphy. And the coverage on the play by the former Pro Bowler, Rasheem Mathis.
And see, without the play fake, and I think he went the wrong way. Now, he rolled out to his right because he's right-handed. But there was more opportunity to complete this pass had he just drifted to his left. The protection had held up on that side, so he's got to do a better job of sensing where the pressure is coming from. That time, I thought Campbell actually ran himself into pressure and into trouble where he just had to dump the football away.
5 defensive backs, 3rd down and 7. Touchdown! What a throw! Lewis Murphy. His first catch is an 8-yard touchdown reception.
You see Campbell making a great play from the pocket. His patience for this route to come. Look at it over outside of Ford. This coming from across the top in the back of the end zone against Derek Cox. Lewis Murphy did a wonderful job of selling the route and forcing Derek Cox to take the bait.
Janikowski extra point with 19 seconds to play in the first half. 17-7 the Raiders. 2 touchdown passes by Campbell. A 67-yarder to McFadden. Most of it he caught and then ran most of the way. And an 8-yard touchdown pass right there to second-year Florida wide receiver Louis Murphy. Coming up in the Sprint halftime report from our CBS studios in New York. JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and former coach Bill Cowher. Scores, highlights, and news. That's coming up on the Sprint halftime report. So the turnover, Raiders cash in, and it is 17-7 in a huge game with playoff implications for both teams.
And it all started with Jason Campbell really making some plays by getting out of the pocket, hitting the ball down the field to his receivers like Louis Murphy, dumping the ball off to his running backs coming out, their ability to convert on third down. So it was a gutsy performance, 5 of 6 on that drive for Jason Campbell. I thought he made all of the plays and then buying some time for his receivers to get open while using his mobility.
We talked a lot about coordinator Hugh Jackson. I know he's a favorite of yours. A nice mixture on that particular drive to all parts of the field.
And what you're seeing is an offensive game plan tailored to the abilities of his quarterback and the receivers and running backs that he has at Campbell's disposal.
Kareem will take it. And then belted on the play by Davis. A fumble as you see on the play. And they're fighting for it. And Russell Allen is in there trying to get it for Jacksonville. That's the 4th time this season that Kareem has fumbled on a kickoff return. And I'm guessing just what more shoving at the Doozable is in there for Jacksonville. Since there's been no signal, Jacksonville retains it.
Well, we certainly saw the ball come out, but was he down by contact? Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks like he was down.
Elbow,
and
yeah.
And that kicked the ball loose.
Jack Del Rio, who grew up a Raider fan, says he is still a Raider fan. Grew up in Northern California. Let's turn this team into a first place ball club. 7-5 coming into today. So with 3 timeouts, the Jaguars, just 12 seconds remaining from the 29 1st and 10. Timeout, Oakland. Raiders will take a timeout. They bring a 6-6 record into today's game. Raiders just for housekeeping purposes, 4-0 in the AFC West and sweeping San Diego for just the first time since 1990. Wednesday on Showtime, James Brown, Chris Collinsworth, Warren Sapp, and Phil Simms come your way on cable's longest running show, the multi-award winning Inside the NFL, every Wednesday on Showtime. Well, it's been an interesting game. We've only had the 1 turnover. That was a pickoff, which really wasn't Garrard's fault. His receiver Thomas caught it and made the required 3 steps and then was whacked and turned the ball over on the 29 1st and 10. Going deep. His receiver got caught up. He was looking, I think, for Mike Sims-Walker, although Thomas was in the vicinity. But Sims-Walker got caught up about the 40. He was doubled. Thomas was coming on the other side. Regardless, incomplete. Huff was back there covering both.
Yeah, I thought it was good coverage by the Oakland Raiders. Sometimes if you're a quarterback, you want to throw it beyond the wide receiver and beyond the defense in the secondary where no one could get it, because Garrard's been getting hit. Now, you can't say enough about what the defensive line for the Raiders have done so far in this game.
They'll go to a knee. And that will take us to halftime. 2 touchdown passes by Jason Campbell. And a touchdown pass by David Garrard. And at halftime, the Oakland Raiders on top of Jacksonville 17-7. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Raider quarterback Jason Campbell with 2 touchdown passes. That is our halftime score. Well, where do you want to go? There's so much to talk about here.
Well, we said that it would be a war, that it would be a physical battle in the trenches. And right now, I think the Oakland Raiders, having traveled out to the East Coast and playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, have really taken it to them, gotten off to a good start. And I think their defensive line, in terms of how they've been able to hit, harass David Garrard, I think is really a pivotal thing and something to watch in the second half.
Picked out a play of the game. It's the Droid Pro play presented by Motorola.
Oh, that happened in the first quarter. Jason Campbell not running the football, but throwing it to Darren McFadden. And we told you at the top of the game that he was a weapon catching the ball out of the backfield. He set sail 67 yards to begin the scoring in this game and put the Raiders on the scoreboard. Jumped out to a 7-0 lead.
Raiders winning last week in San Diego, sweeping the Chargers this season. Now a tough cross-country flight where they began practicing early this week, early in the morning. The ensuing kickoff. This is taken by the reserve tight end, Zach Miller. On that line drive up to the 43-yard line. Rock Cartwright was right there. 21-yard return. Good beginning field position for Jacksonville.
Well, after 52 rushing attempts last week, look at the passing yards in the first half by the Oakland Raiders. That shows you Hugh Jackson has some flexibility in terms of what he wants to do with this offense. You know it's going to be tough just slamming the ball with the running game in the early going, that you have to be productive throwing the football against Jacksonville if you stand any chance of winning.
43-yard line, 1st and 10. Garrard to the side. Trying to go to the back shoulder of Zach Miller, former college quarterback, in the coverage downfield. They had Huff back there and Tyvon Branch. 2nd down and 10.
Oh, David Garrard was not happy with Zach Miller. They talked about this all week. They worked on it in practice on Friday when we were there. He said, hey, we're going to work the back shoulder throws to our tight ends in man-to-man coverage. And Zach Miller never turned around over the back shoulder. He turned front side, and you saw the stare that David Garrard gave Zach Miller when he didn't go for that back shoulder pass attempt.
2 tight ends on 2nd down and 10. Monroe, the left tackle, with a good block. Mercedes Lewis, he's been a key figure in this offense. One behind, brought down by Cam Wembley. It's a 17-yard catch down to the 40.
Now, Cameron Wembley is a former defensive end, and we said that he would be matched up right here, running across the field, that he'd be matched up with some of the tight ends for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's in chase. That was huge separation by Lewis, and just an easy throw for David Garrard. Long as the protection holds up, Lewis ought to be open all day working against defensive ends in space.
Lewis now with 4 receptions, as you see. Montel Owens is in motion. Kind of a full house looking backfield right there. 1st and 10. Maurice Jones-Drew. Wow, then he was devoured. Tommy Kelly brings him down on a gain of 2. Put him at the 38.
Remember, Maurice Jones-Drew has come into today's game 5 consecutive games over 100 yards rushing. And that there was only his 9th carry of the game, only 25 yards rushing. So the guys like Tommy Kelly, Richard Seymour, Lamar Houston, Shaughnessy, it is, I think, the play of the defensive line that's allowing the linebackers at the 2nd level of the Raiders defense to run and tackle Maurice Jones-Drew.
4 in the secondary for the Raiders. 2nd down and 8. Maurice Jones-Drew saw the flag. Tyvon Branch shot right through, brings him down. Loss of 3 right now at the 42-yard line. Raiders have looked sharp. Looks like it's going to be a penalty on the Jaguars. They're trying to get some confirmation on a number. Holding.
Holding, number 63. Offense. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Longtime center Brad Meester.
Well, he's got their hands full. And watch Shaughnessy. Watch number 77. He's going to come right in and just going to look at that. He comes right in. He's able to get to the 2nd level.
And Seymour was the one who got wrestled down by Meester. How about going up against Richard Seymour? How hard a task is that?
Well, he's a big guy, big physical guy. We talked about all the defensive players on that front line, but he's 6'6", 310 pounds, but boy, can he move, and he's a load when he comes off the ball.
It's second down and 18. Good time. Going deep. He's got his receiver. Touchdown! Jason Hill. What a throw. 48-yard strike. They got Michael Huff in the Raiders secondary.
Michael Huff, he's a safety. And look, watch this. He's playing corner on this play. And they get him matched up against the speedy. Look at this. This is just one heck of a throw and just a great catch by Hill.
Jason Hill was waived by the 49ers earlier this season, a former Niner third-round pick. The extra point by Scobie. A new game in Jacksonville. Early in the second, a career-long catch. 48-yarder. And the Jaguars are back in business. Fifth touchdown reception for Hill. Garrard with 2 touchdown passes today, matching the 2 thrown by Campbell. 2 running teams we thought would run the ball. They've been throwing the ball a lot today.
And I think you have to be able to evolve your offense and develop as the season goes on if you're going to win a division title and play in the postseason.
This is Jacoby Ford reversing field, getting around Kareem, and kind of races out of bounds. 15-yard return. That was a nice looking drive put together by Jacksonville. First of all, they got Lewis for 17 and a cross. Nice run by Jones-Drew, then a 48-yard bomb to Hill. Let's see how the Raiders respond right now. The kickoff after the 48-yard Jacksonville touchdown from the 22, first and 10. McFadden is back there. And the handoff. What a nice submarining play right there. Kirk Morrison, you know he's fired up. He played for the Raiders for 4 years. A loss of 2, back to the 20.
Kevin, let's take a look at that touchdown pass from David Garrard. It's called zero coverage because no help in the center of the field. And look, Huff, he's matched up man-to-man against a speedy Jason Hill. And with no help over the center of the field, it's just a wonderful throw from David Garrard. He leads the receiver open away from coverage. He runs right up under it for a wonderful touchdown for Jacksonville.
One of the nice stories for this team has been the calls offensively by Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator for Jacksonville. He's really been creative with what he's done.
And what he understood there is that he had the matchup advantage. And Michael Huff, he's a safety in the National Football League, played corner during his freshman year at the University of Texas. He said, yeah, I do spend a lot of time working on my cornerback skills, but when you're matched up one-on-one against a wide receiver and you're a safety and you're used to playing in the center of the field, they move you out there man-to-man. Most offensive coordinators are going to take a shot at.
Not a good sign there is Austin Lane, the rookie we talked about before. 5th-round pick out of Murray State, taking the place of the injured Aaron Campman is out. Off the field he goes. They'll plug in a former #1 draft choice, Derek Harvey, at that left end. It's second down and 12 for Campbell, who is 11 of 14 throwing today. Here comes Harvey. There goes Campbell. Right on the money, caught by Zach Miller. He had one-on-one with the linebacker Darrell Smith, outracing him to the 49, a catch and run of 29, and a Raiders first down.
And it was the mobility of Campbell moving around, buying extra time. And look at the linebacker in coverage against Zach Miller. That's Darrell Smith, 52, giving chase to Miller. But give Jason Campbell a lot of credit because he was able to elude the blitzing Derek Harvey to buy a little bit more time for Miller to get open.
First and 10. McFadden. Good block by Satelli, breaking a tackle, and there he goes. It's a foot race. Cox can't get him. McFadden has scored for the second time today. This time on the ground, a 51-yard gallop.
Wow. All of you fantasy owners, if you suited up Darren McFadden today, he's paying off huge. Just a wonderful run. He gets here, and then he cuts it back. And then watch his speed at the 3rd level of the defense. You can't even pull his flag. He pulls away from all the secondary defenders. Oh, boy, his ability to run it and catch it and still find the end zone has been very prevalent to that.
The center, Satelli. The right guard, Cooper Carlisle, open the door. 51-yard touchdown run by McFadden. And Sebastian Janikowski gives the Raiders a 10-point lead. One of the hottest running backs in the NFL right there. These are your father's Raiders, huh? they are something else.
A throwback to the days of whether it's Mark Van Egan or, Marcus Allen. They've got some talented players.
Kareem will let this go out of the end zone. Touchback to the 20-yard line. Jacksonville, that is touchback number 28 for Sebastian Janikowski.
Well, we're going to show you how it happened now. Kurt Morrison, the inside linebacker, he overruns it, and so does Sean Considine. And take a look at it, and it's just a great read by the running back. Look at this, the cutback right there by Darren McFadden, and then to make an extra defender miss in open field at the second level, and then the speed, where he just burns the secondary, torching them en route to the end zone. Just a wonderful read by Darren McFadden, and then the athleticism to cut it back and the speed to take it to the house.
I don't know if there is a better 1-2 combination in the backfield in the NFL than those two guys right there.
I think we have a lot of them, and week to week you see a different group emerging.
Good point from the 21st and 10. This is Maurice Jones-Drew. And from the side, Mitchell. Mike Mitchell makes the stop, limiting him to a gain of 4 up to the 24-yard line.
And now, if you're Maurice Jones-Drew, what did Tom Cable tell us? He said he will want to have a big game and outrun our best rusher. In other words, Maurice Jones-Drew carries a chip on his shoulder where he wants to have a bigger day than Darren McFadden. And McFadden is having that kind of day, ripping off long runs and even creating yards after the catch to score 2 touchdowns on the day.
2nd down and 6. That was batted down. Henderson was in the vicinity. Played for Jacksonville. Let's go to New York and James Brown.
Kevin and Solomon, Carolina finally on the board coming in the third quarter. Take a look here on this play. It is Mike Goodson weaving his way, picking his way, bobbing his way. 13 yards to pay dirt. Finally, they're on the board. 17-7, though. Atlanta still on top in the third. Kevin Harlan, Solomon Wilcox.
They've had some injuries, so that kid Goodson has emerged.
I think every week JB is doing a highlight of Mike Goodson for the Carolina Panthers.
3rd down and 6 from the 24. 6 in the secondary for the Raiders. Mike Sims-Walker broken up. Chris Johnson, who's missed the last couple games of the groin injury, but stayed right there with Mike Sims-Walker. 3 and out. Jacksonville's got a punt.
Yeah, they go 3 and out. They're trying to go up top, find the one matchup advantage they think they have against Chris Johnson going up to Mike Sims-Walker. But his ability to come back to the ball has to be in effect. And then look at the pressure once again. How many times have we seen Garrard go down and go down hard?
Here's the punt now by Podlish. And deep back is Johnny Lee Higgins at the 35. And they got him from behind. Nice special team play by Tyron Brackenridge. 2-yard return, 41-yard punt. Campbell back out there for the Raiders on offense. Raiders get it again. We've had 2 touchdown plays on this third quarter start. After the 3 and out forced by the Raider defense. Oakland gets it. 1st and 10 from the 37. Bush. Deuceable misses, and in the secondary was brought down. After a run of 11 yards, that is a 1st down. Russell Allen was over there, marked the ball at the 48.
And now, if you're Jacksonville, you better be careful. I thought the Jaguars began the second half playing very well. We just seen the touchdown pass from David Garrard to Jason Hill, but McFadden answers and strikes against Jack Del Rio's defense with a long run. And then the defense comes on, pitch a 3 and out. They get the ball back for this offense, who can now put even more points on the board.
Harvey still taking the place of the injured Austin Lane. It is a 1st and 10 run. Michael Bush, no gain on the play. Harvey was right there to make the stop at the 48.
Well, you just get the sense that the Raiders now, a big physical team. Is Jacksonville beginning to wear down? Is Tom Cable's approach, and you know his philosophy, he wants to be the more physical team, particularly at the line of scrimmage. His offensive line, the big, strong defensive line who've gotten to David Garrard, but right now they're starting to get the blocks and get their runners to the second level of the defense.
It's 2nd down and 10. Look at him niftily move up. Boy, then he's drilled. It just collapsed. Duzable, Harvey, they were coming at him from all sides. A loss of 6, second sack today. Back to the 42.
Yeah, the pressure goes up the field, and that forces him to step up in the pocket. Harvey is coming, and you can see Knighton there as well. They teed off on Jason Campbell. See the pressure up the field forces him to step up in the pocket. Big 96 Terrence Knighton's able to get there. And so they're able to get Campbell, who's been really doing a good job of moving around in the pocket.
6 defensive backs, 3rd down and 16. They need the Jacksonville 42. His receiver fell. They were going for Lewis Murphy, and he fell. Michael Hamlin was back there among the many covering for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they got a punt, 4 and out.
And Kevin, you said it, Lewis Murphy at the top of your screen. He's going to fall down, forcing the overthrow by David Garrard. But I can't stress enough how much of a huge stop that was for the Jacksonville Jaguars defense to pitch their own 3 and out and get the ball back for their offense.
Leckler to punt into the wind. Raiders chose going into the wind in the 3rd so they could have the wind in the 4th quarter. Thomas, fair caught. And covering for the Raiders, Stevie Brown, a rookie. 39-yard punt. Hang time of 4-8. That sets up a possession for Garrard. Jacksonville Jaguars have a half-game lead over Indianapolis in the AFC South. So they come in at first place, 7-5. Tied for second with San Diego in the West. 2 games in back of Kansas City, the Raiders. 1st and 10 after the 4 and out by Oakland. Jones a block. In fact, he got 2 guys, and Maurice Jones-Drew is brought down by Matt Shaughnessy. It is a gain of 6. He's up to the 24.
I think the Jacksonville Jaguars came out in the 3rd quarter on the attack. A 48-yard strike from David Garrard to Jason Hill. And then how about the Raiders? They come back and they answer with a 51-yard run by Darren McFadden for a touchdown. The Raiders pitch a 3 and out and able to get the ball back, but they can't do anything with it. So Jacksonville gets the ball back, and they need some points on the board. The offense needs to go on the tack.
2nd down and 4. This is Jones-Drew. And from behind, brought down by Desmond Bryant. It's a gain of 2. He's up to the 25-yard line.
Trying to get Maurice Jones-Drew going against this Raiders defense, who was so good last week in holding the San Diego Chargers to only 21 yards rushing. They really discouraged the Chargers from running the ball. And Jacksonville determined to stick with it, but you can see Darren McFadden right now, and just the total yards by comparison for each running back. Surprising that Maurice Jones-Drew is that far behind in terms of the production McFadden is giving you today.
In the backfield, Jennings on 3rd down and 2. Chased by Rout, cuts the corner, finds room. It's a foot race. The backup running back. Here comes Branch. There goes Jennings. 74 yards. Touchdown.
Kevin, we talked about this in the first half. Everyone on the defense for the Raiders, their antenna goes up when Maurice Jones-Drew is on the field. And then as soon as Rashard Jennings come in, he's been able to rip off the long runs today. And so they let their guard down just for one moment, and he comes in and he's ready. And that's why this league, almost every team is going to have that second running back who can come in and be just as good as the front run.
Challenge, they're going to just threw the red challenge flag, and Preble is out on the numbers. No one was noticing him. He had to run out to the numbers to get some notice. He thinks he was out of bounds. And that will be the challenge on the run. The weaving run by Jennings.
Oakland is challenging the ruling on the field of a touchdown.
And you may ask yourself, well, why didn't Cable throw the red flag out sooner? There's a certain communication that every team has set in terms of the system. Upstairs, they have a coach who is telling him, saying, hey, you want to take a look at it, but they want to see it first before they can relay that message to the coach. And so we're going to see if he stepped out of bounds right in front of the Raiders bench. I don't know that we saw anything that would support that.
What a good block downfield, too, by left tackle Eugene Monroe. And then another one by Jason Hill. Watch Monroe here turn and seal.
Yeah, maybe right there. Oh, there's a second step. From there, it appeared as though he may have. But when we were looking at it from over the top, not so sure that we saw anything that would overturn what's been ruled on the field. It's been ruled a touchdown. See, we caught it.
I think the fans here
Here it
will
is
see the
again.
replay.
Don't know that this is the best angle. Right now, okay.
That one
See,
right
with
there,
that
that's
one
the
there,
one.
if you
the
rock
left
it
foot.
back, could you tell for sure?
Well, not
do you
from
have
this
enough?
angle.
Do you have enough evidence to tell that that foot's out of bounds? Let's rock it forward. One more step.
Left foot right on the.
But this guy is in the way. Okay, look. I'm not sure. We don't see anything. At least that's enough. Right there.
I think he's in.
Go back right there. Stop it right there. Stop it right there. Okay, let's take a look at that. Look at that. I think he's in. We don't have enough.
Because of your magnifying glass there, we see that he's in.
Look at that. Right there.
That's a handy little gizmo you got there.
It's all in the technology. We always talk about the eye in the sky doesn't lie. I think that gives us a bird's eye view of things.
Well, you got to have a good operator, and you operated that well, and you showed us that he had it almost looked like almost an inch.
Well, thanks to our people at CBS. They give us all the tools to have fun and cover the game appropriately.
Jacksonville has won.
The ruling on the field, this confirms it is a touchdown. Oakland has been charged with a timeout, and that is also the first challenge. Correction, second.
Rashad Jennings broke all the rushing records in the Big South Conference at Liberty. He's in his second year. We talk about the 1-2 punch of Oakland. There's a 1-2 punch in Jacksonville, too.
Absolutely. And Jennings, he rewards his team. You have put a lot on the shoulders of Maurice Jones-Drew. 5 straight games over 100 yards. How about using the fresh legs of Rashad Jennings to spark your offense? And you saw as he tight-roped the sideline, he was able to pull away from defenders, but yet he was able to stay in bounds and take it to the house.
Well, we came into today thinking this was one of the best games on the NFL schedule. We have not been disappointed. Scobie for the extra point. It's a 3-point game. 24-21. 6:44 to play in the third.
And we said this offense needed to put some points on the board for Jack Del Rio. After getting a 3-and-out themselves and getting the ball back for David Garrard, Jennings strikes big against the Raiders defense. We told you both teams can run the ball. We've seen long runs from Jennings. We've also seen a long run from Darren McFadden.
Oakland has never trailed in this game. We've had a tie at 7. And then it's been kind of back and forth, but the Raiders have been holding on. Now there's Jason Campbell, and he has thrown 2 touchdown passes today. Well, Survivor Week kicks off on Wednesday when a family challenge brings out the best and the worst in the survivors. It's a new Survivor Wednesday, and the season finale next Sunday only on CBS. Well, this game, you know, both teams came in saying our playoffs have already started, and they're playing with that kind of urgency.
Oh, absolutely. And the Raiders come into this game at 6-6. They really do feel like they're on the bubble. If you're Jacksonville, you feel a little bit better at 7-5. You're playing at home. And next week, you're on the road at the Indianapolis Colts. So, yes, they feel like they want to stay one step ahead of Indy, who won on Thursday night against the Tennessee Titans.
Just some housekeeping because the Raiders lost the challenge. They lose a timeout. They've got 2 left for the second half.
Now you want to keep those in your back pocket. Something tells me Tom Cable's going to need them.
Ford awaits the kickoff from Josh Scobie. See the wind, and it will be held by David Jones. Ford from the 20, make it the 13-yard line. Jones and back. Oh, is there a fumble on the play? Jacksonville thinks they've gotten it. You can see the digging in. Owens comes out of the pack. And a confirmation from the field. They're discussing. Indeed, a turnover. And Jacksonville gets it. Owens dug it out. The rookie Ford fumbles it on the kickoff return.
Yeah, Ford starts to cross backfield, and there's the ball coming out right there. And Owens, number 24 for Jacksonville, is going to come up with it. And if you're Tom Cable, we just said he needs to keep those challenges in his pocket. No way you want to even try to challenge this one. You cannot turn the ball over so close to your own red zone.
After the Raiders' first turnover today, Jones, the fullback, in motion from the Oakland 22. Garrard. Jones drew. Behind Houston, from in front, Branch. The catch and run takes him to the 12 on a gain of 9.
Great blocking by the right tackle, number 78, and by the tight end. That's Jordan Black out in space. Watch him chop down one of the defenders for the Oakland Raiders, leaving room for Maurice Jones-Drew. Do anything you can to get the ball in his hands.
Second down and 1. They get around. This is Jones-Drew. Route. Came from the side. Swiped them. Gain of 3. First down to the 10.
I love this play. It's that fake reverse. You're trying to hold that right defensive end, and it leaves a seam. See underneath Stanford route? That leaves the seam underneath that inline defender because he has to hold for the fake reverse and make sure it clears. Almost allowed Maurice Jones-Drew to pop one into the end zone.
First and goal from the 10. Running down for bringing Stevie Brown and Mike Mitchell in the secondary. This is Jones-Drew. Shaughnessy got him up high. No gain on the play. And then down low, Tommy Kelly. As they combine on the stop, it'll be second down and goal.
Jacksonville is going to have to do a really good job of playing well in the second half, and mainly in the fourth quarter. Remember a few weeks ago against the Giants, they led that game 17-6, went on to lose it. And then against, of course, the Tennessee Titans earlier in the season, they were leading 17-0 and then allowed 24 points in the second half.
Jennings in the backfield, second down and goal. From behind, Houston can't get him. Seymour is chasing. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Sticking at the 10. Third and goal.
See, David Garrard's trying to make some plays running the football, and what he's reading is the underneath man-to-man coverage. They turn their backs. He believes he can outrun Richard Seymour, but not quite. Big Richard Seymour, boy, can he move. We talked about the athleticism of the big guys up front for the Oakland Raiders. We saw him tracking down a much smaller and faster quarterback in David Garrard.
Six defensive backs, third and goal at the 10. Jennings remains. And that's caught by Sims Walker. It is a touchdown! Beating Huff.
I think they found their matchup. If they can get a wide receiver matched up in man-to-man coverage against Michael Huff, and they put points on the board after the turnover by Jacoby Ford. But we've seen Jason Hill working against Huff. Watch at the top of your screen. And see, they matched up again with Mike Sims Walker. And Huff just has to find the ball.
I wonder if that other foot got down.
Oh, he had a good look at it.
He sure look at it. He delayed his call a very long time as Scobie will put up another point. Jacksonville has their first lead. Well, you can't challenge now. Too late. Steve Zimmer made the call. Huff was beaten, and Mike Sims Walker, who did not play last week because of a high ankle sprain, pulls down a beauty, and the Jaguars cash in on the Ford kickoff return fumble.
Oh, it's a really good throw and fine catch. And see, if you're Huff, you just got to play the ball. Was that second foot in bounds? If you're Tom Cable, you've already blown one timeout. Do you want to go right back at it?
Oh, I think it looked like he might have been on the chalk. You can't see.
I think you can't see it.
Right,
and I think the official had a really good look. And I love the aggressive call by the officials. Go with what you see. Now, you have to be sure. So, yeah, there was a little delay. But once he put those arms up, I thought he was very definitive. And I know this. He had a better look at it than you and I did. I'm going to go ahead and trust this call.
First lead today for the Jacksonville Jaguars, in first place alone in the South. Deepest into a season they have been in first place since 1999. Raiders have led most of the way until right now. Turnover costs the Raiders 7. 14 unanswered points in the last 3 minutes by Jacksonville. Scobie with the kickoff, and Jacoby Ford watches this bounce into the end zone. They'll leave it right there. Nice touchback by Scobie.
And how big is this game for the Jacksonville Jaguars? They come into this game 7-5. A loss today, they would fall to 7-6. The same record as the Indianapolis Colts, and that's where they're at next week in Indy to take on the Colts. And that would be the battle for first place in the division. The following week, it's home against the Washington Redskins, and they finish up the season on the road at Houston. So they're already 3-1 in the AFC South division with 2 games left in that division. A win today and a win next week will go a long ways in helping them to secure a potential division title.
Austin Lane is back in on the defensive line for Jacksonville. 1st and 10. McFadden with the block on Lane. Going deep, looking for Ford with Rasheem Mathis right there. Incomplete inside the 30.
So they called the number of Jacoby Ford, trying to use his speed to get down the field, and good coverage by Rasheem Mathis. And it's just a 7 route. It's going to start here, then angle back toward that corner. And so Kobe's got to find the ball and just keep running. He has the speed to track that ball, but good positioning on the route by Rasheem Mathis.
You call it a 7 route. 2nd down and 10. Darren McFadden by Reese. Tackle made on the play by Morrison among many. Morrison's had a very nice game against his old team today. It's a gain of 4 up to the 24.
Well, the Oakland Raiders, they know that this is an all-important win. They had taken the lead, had a 10-point lead here in the 3rd quarter, but Jacksonville keeps gnawing away, and they're able to get the turnover and take a 4-point lead in the ball game. Let's see how the Raiders can answer on this all-important 3rd and 6 play.
Campbell has thrown the 2 touchdown passes. David Garrard has thrown 3. It's 3rd and 6 into the nickel. Ford. It's incomplete. They had all kinds of guys. Middleton was over there covering. They read it well, along with that guy off the defensive line, Terrence Knighton. So it's 3 and out for the offense of the Oakland Raiders.
You know, Jacoby Ford, he has 70 members of his family. Tickets for 70 friends and family. And sometimes when you're on the road and you're trying to entertain, particularly as a rookie, so many friends and family, the ability to focus in games is really important.
Leckler will send it into the wind, and it is a stiff breeze. Like the wind grabbed that one. Leckler has not had his best day, but the Raiders will have the wind in the 4th quarter. That was a 39-yard punt by Leckler. Let's see what's coming up now for the Oakland Raiders.
Well, if you're the Raiders, yeah, you got a tough and difficult schedule. You have 2 games at home against Denver and Indianapolis, then on the road at Kansas City. And remember, the Raiders are already 4-0, undefeated inside the AFC West with 2 division games left against Denver, and then that's a tough game at Arrowhead. But, you know, the way Kansas City is playing, if you're Tom Cable, you got to figure, hey, we have to win out. At 6-6, I don't know that 9 wins get you in the AFC.
It's at the 38-yard line. It's 1st and 10. Maurice Jones-Drew. Tyvon Prince brings him down. Only after Jones-Drew picks up 8. Up to the 47. Let's go to New York.
Kevin Solomon, Pittsburgh's hard-hitting and opportunistic defense getting it done. Carson Palmer picked off by David Willey. He returns it 14 yards for the Steelers. Fourth time this season, Carson has thrown a pick six. It is now 20-7. And make that, boy, am I going back with David Woodley? Lamar Woodley getting it done. Back to Kevin and Solomon.
Good job. I like that. 2nd down and 2. You know your history in the NFL. Woodley, long-time backup down in Miami. There's another Jones-Drew backpedaling run. Brought down on the play by Henderson. 5-yard gain, 1st down to the 49 of the Oakland Raiders.
And this is exactly where the Jacksonville Jaguars wanted the Raiders as we approach the 4th quarter. You want that lead and the ability to stick the ball in the belly of Maurice Jones-Drew and just hammer away at John Marshall's defense. Jack Del Rio's got to love the way this game is shaping up. Now, they have to do a really good job of protecting the football themselves.
1st and 10. That's the fullback, Jones. Cam Wembley from behind. 1st down, catch and run to the 37, 12-yard pickup, and they move the chains again.
Remember, Ricky Brown is playing for Ronaldo McClain, number 57, matched up on the other side. And this is just Greg Jones catching the ball against a middle linebacker who's just not that good in man-to-man coverage against the skill position players. And that's what David Garrard said, that we feel like we have a matchup advantage throwing the ball to our backs and tight ends matched up against their linebackers in man-to-man coverage.
Another 1st down. Jones-Drew. Boy, some nice blocking out there to open up the hole. Black at that right tackle. 7-yard gain. Put him in about the 30. And they had Cam Wembley, among others, making the stop for the Oakland Raiders.
And the fans are yelling, Drew. He's starting to heat it up. You see the 1st quarter, 2nd quarter, no rushing yards. But here in the 3rd, he's starting to crank it up, getting it going, starting to eye another 100-yard performance.
The Raiders chose the wind in the 4th quarter, which is what they'll get, and they will need it. On the road in Jacksonville, down by 4, a beauty on CBS. We start the 4th quarter, 2nd down and 3 from the Raider 30 for Jacksonville.
And Jacksonville knocking at the door, trying to land a knockout punch against this Oakland Raiders defense.
Jones-Drew, Jones with the block. Well, they had Gaithel come by and knock him down. Branch was there too. No gain on the play. They stay at the 30.
You want to stick with the running game of Maurice Jones-Drew, and he keeps looking at the sideline wondering if Rashard Jennings is going to come in for him, because Jennings seems to be a fresh runner. And we talked to Maurice Jones-Drew the early part of the year. He said, hey, I wasn't healthy. That's the reason why we've been more productive in the running game the last 5 weeks. He said he couldn't take advantage of some of the blocks his offensive line had provided for him when he was less healthy.
3rd and 3. Oh, what a nice fake, and there goes the quarterback. One-on-one with Huff. 1st and goal, Jacksonville at the 6 of the Raiders. A run of 24 yards by the quarterback, David Garrard.
Just a wonderful play. It is excellent on the pump fake. And then watch it. The end man on the line of scrimmage has to take pitch. So once he takes pitch, and look at Garrard, he's just going to cut it up. There is no extra defender until he gets deep into the secondary to Michael Huff. So understanding the rules of an option play, Garrard smartly kept it for himself, faking the pitch to Maurice Jones-Drew.
First and goal, Maurice Jones-Drew. Monroe with the block. And a stiff arm into Branch. He may have gotten a yard. Flag has been thrown. It's going to be against the Jacksonville Jaguars. No gain on that run.
Two-minute motion at the snap, number 80. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Replay 1st down.
Mike Thomas.
You can hear the wind whipping around. You talked about the Raiders opting for the win. And well, look at that. It's there. You see the flag blowing, but right now inside it's swirling more. I don't know that they're going to actually have an advantage with the wind at their back here in the fourth quarter.
At the 11, first and goal. Ward, hands off, Jones Drew. Looked like Houston may have tripped him up. Shaughnessy was in there along with Travis Gaethel. It is a gain of 3 to the 8.
Maurice Jones-Drew, he can find the soft spot. Watch, he's a downhill runner. Cutting it back right there. He can find the hole. He had his own defensive lineman in the way, our own offensive lineman, and Vince Manawa trying to get around him.
The 8th play of the Jacksonville drive. Jennings is in. And the call. And the 1 with a tackle made by Brown. He pounds his way to about the 2 on a gain of 7.
Jennings is really hitting the hole with an explosion. You could tell he has a fresh pair of legs. Look at that, breaking 1 tackle of a defender and able to get right around the goal line. Number 96, Cameron Wembley, is able to step out of his tackle. So I think his explosion, once he gets the ball in his hand, he's really starting to gash this Oakland Raider defense.
3 tight ends. Jones Drew is in. Maurice Jones-Drew, great defensive play. The rookie Lamar Houston coming through, limiting him to a gain of 1. Now it is 4th and goal at the 1.
Just a really good play by Houston, not just to get penetration. Anytime you can tackle Maurice Jones-Drew this well upon contact, look at number 99. Wow. Rope the legs, and the runner goes down.
The defense of the Raiders, they do the job. They're going to limit him to a 3-point try by Scobie. This will be a 19-yard field goal to extend the Jacksonville lead to 7. 31-24. Plenty of time left. They keep it a 1-score game. The Oakland defense does. Scobie with the 19-yard field goal, but the Jaguars did have it, first and goal at the 10. The Raider defense holds.
No, and they needed to keep him out of the end zone. It keeps it to within 1 score. We've seen enough big plays in this game to know that it can turn in 1 moment.
As we said to start the game, Jacoby Ford has returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns this season for the Raiders. The wind continuing to blow, and it, as you can see, just is affecting the ball being up on the tee. Raiders at 6-6, tied in 2nd place, 2 games in back of Kansas City. The Chiefs today without their starting quarterback, going with Brody Croyle because Castle had an appendix or appendectomy earlier in the week, cannot play. They are in San Diego, who the Raiders are tied with at 6-6. Half-game lead for Jacksonville in the South over 2nd place Indianapolis. Ford from the 6. Seam and then brought down Kassim Osgood. 21-yard return. So now Jason Campbell and the Raiders down by 7 with the ball.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint, the Now Network. TD Ameritrade. And by The Other Guys on Blu-ray and DVD December 14th. Also on digital download.
Raiders have had 2 fourth-quarter comebacks this year against Kansas City and against San Diego.
Yeah, remember, both of those occurred at home, not on the road.
On the 27, 1st and 10. Darren McFadden with 2 touchdowns today. Nice defensive play. Was that Morrison? There was no gain on the play. They'll stay at the 27. You can build your own football dynasty and compete year-round with CBSSports.com franchise football. Find out more at CBSSports.com/franchise. 2nd down and 10.
Wow, Jacksonville Jaguars, 103 points allowed in the 4th quarter, the most in the NFL.
Tight end. That was caught by Brandon Myers, grabbed by Considine, no gain. Considine taking the place of the normal starter, Courtney Green. It'll be 3rd and 10.
And let's see if the Jacksonville Jaguar defense can hold up in the fourth quarter. You know Tom Cable's team is going to launch an assault. But they're going to have to take the Raiders' best shot if they're going to hold up in the fourth quarter of this ball game.
Middleton becomes the extra defensive back for Jacksonville. 3rd down and 10. Blitz. Down he goes. He fumbled the ball. That's Knighton. He's going to rumble in for the touchdown. A flag has been thrown. A flag down at the 18.
And Campbell is down with a chunk of grass lodged in his helmet.
Prior to the pass, personal foul, contact to the helmet of the quarterback on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
And it was 3rd and 10. Campbell is down. Their backup is Kyle Bowler, longtime player with Baltimore and many starts with the Ravens. No Gronkowski on the IR. 3rd quarterback is J.T. O'Sullivan, signed this week.
Well, let's take a look at it. There's Campbell. Where's the hit to the head? Right there? Oh, Middleton, are you kidding me?
That was in the course of the play.
I don't understand it. Let's take a look. Now, Middleton, 29, he's getting up. It's not.
No.
I mean, obviously, they don't want to legislate intent. And did he make contact with his helmet? Yes, but he's just being a football player. Watch him come in right there.
Well, you know what? The first hit, and you're right, he's just being a football, but his first hit was with the helmet. And I guess they would consider that a defenseless position, too, because he was held.
Quarterback is never defenseless. He's in the pocket. He can't be considered a defenseless player. He can always lay down and avoid a hit. So the defenseless portion usually applies to a wide receiver who's going down the field trying to make a catch. But a quarterback in the pocket, you can't lead with your helmet to the head of the quarterback, and I think that's what they're going to call. It's clear to me that he's woozy because he was slammed into the ground. Remember, he had a chunk of grass in his helmet lodged in the face mask, and I think that's where he was dinged on the play, not necessarily from the hit from Middleton. Let's take a look at it again. Now watch 29. See, Middleton's getting up off the ground, and then there's the hit. But then watch, he's going to be slammed in the ground. See, right now he's fine. Bam, right there. And that's where he became a little bit groggy once he was slammed to the turf.
Gerald Smith was the one who had him and had the brunt of the tackle. So now the new quarterback is Kyle Bowler. It's 1st and 10. Oh, Bowler was whacked. That's caught by Zach Miller at the 38-yard line. Considine down there. Russell Allen down there. It is a 20-yard catch to the 38-yard line of Jacksonville.
Yeah, you said Bowler was whacked. He was hit, and so was Zach Miller. In between 3 defenders, take a shot from Sean Considine. Now look at the hit. That ball's up for grabs, but still he has enough on it to get it to Miller. And then there's the shoulder. And you notice Considine didn't launch himself towards the receiver.
It's a handoff to McFadden on 1st down and 10. Works his way for a couple. Russell Allen was right there. They're going to give him a gain of a yard to the 37 of the Jaguars.
So we've got some hard hitting going on in this ball game, and we told you that the Jacksonville Jaguars have surrendered the most points in the fourth quarter of any team in the National Football League. But as a result on the penalty, the infraction on the hit to Jason Campbell, Kyle Bowler comes in and has the offense on the move. So that was a huge call.
2nd down, long 9 with time and on the run. That is a gain to the 31 is where they're marking it right now. A scramble of 7 by number 7, Kyle Bowler out of camp.
You see them working on Jason Campbell. Watch the play by Kyle Bowler. Now, watch as he's sliding. Darryl Smith's going to come and lead with a head. Now, if he would have made contact with Bowler, they would have thrown a penalty flag. Why? Because he was in a sliding position. If the quarterback leads with his head, then you can treat him like any other offensive player. But if he goes into that slide position, you really can't touch him.
Third down and 3. Kyle Bowler. Incomplete. As he was going for Lewis Murphy. Coverage on the play by second-year cornerback Derek Cox.
Oh, watch Lewis Murphy at the top of the screen here. Slicing there. This ball's thrown way too high. You want to get that low where Lewis Murphy can go down and dig it out. And Derek Cox, who was in coverage, he had no chance of getting that ball if it's thrown low and inside.
4th and 3. He had a couple 4th and 1s last week that he went for to Tom Cable. Here, 4th and 3 from the 31. McFadden at his side. Timeout. He did not like the way his offense was lining up. The one thing is, Bowler's had no first-team snaps this week in practice. With Campbell out, 7:49 to play. Raiders have a timeout. Their starting quarterback, number 8, Jason Campbell, on the sideline after a big hit. Kyle Bowler, who has not thrown a pass until this drive, is in his stead. 4th and 3. Intercepted and picked off on the play. What a big-time pickoff by Don Carey. His first of the season, and he stops the Raider promising drive with the play.
Techniques and fundamentals are everything for a quarterback. Watch Bowler. He drifts this way while trying to throw it clear to the other side. And so he's not able to set himself, and I don't think he ever sees the defender. That ball's thrown clearly behind the wide receiver. Look at that. And you have to lead him. And so his technique is fundamental in terms of how he's standing in the pocket, and his delivery of the football doesn't allow him to really get anything on the ball and out in front of the receiver. Subsequently, it's intercepted.
Tom Carey with the pickoff, and here's the handoff on 1st and 10. Maurice Jones-Drew, the slippery running back, finally brought down on the play by Ricky Brown. It is a gain of 8. He is up to the 44.
So the penalty earlier by William Middleton, it gives the Oakland Raiders new life, and Kyle Bowler comes in and turn it over. And earlier we talked about whether or not the quarterback was in a defenseless position as he was hit by Middleton. Now I know the rule states and talks about the quarterback being in the pocket, and we understand that illegal hits on defenseless players are usually a wide receiver, but in that case it was the quarterback as well.
2nd down and 2, Maurice Jones-Drew. And looked like Houston was right there, throwing him for a loss of a yard back to the 43. So we've had a couple fumbles and turnovers by the Raiders in this game. An important fumble on a kickoff return, which was cashed in by the Jaguars. Interception moments ago, a Bowler by Carey. And here come the Jags again.
And if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you have to be proud of the stand by your defense, because we talked about them giving up the most points of any team in the final or 4th quarter. They needed a really all-important stop on defense.
3rd down and 3. Gerard hit by Brown and belted by Seymour. No gain. The defense of the Raiders again does their job. Back to the 42. They'll have to punt.
Gerard, just a reverse option. Starts one way, tries to roll out another way. Ricky Brown comes up and makes the tackle, securing the tackle, keeping David Gerard from hitting that 1st down mark.
Here's the punt now coming up from Adam Podlich. Deep back Johnny Lee Higgins at the 15. Into the wind. Raiders have a timeout. Oh, that was almost blocked by Mitchell. With that bright Florida sun from the 11-yard line for Higgins. Nice play by Brackenridge. Kyle Bowler comes out after throwing a pick, we think. Timeout. A lot of big plays in this game.
Lots of big plays. Remember, it began in the 1st quarter. The toss over to Darren McFadden. He set sail for a 67-yard touchdown. And then David Gerard to Jason Hill. This is a 48-yard toss for a touchdown. McFadden again. A nice run, 51 yards, and to the house and into the end zone. Then Rashard Jennings, he followed that up with a 74-yard run for a touchdown.
Campbell is back in. Reese gets the little toss. Getting by Mincy. Knighton will shove him out of bounds. The fullback on the run with the completion by Campbell. They will spot him after a catch and run of 10 yards for a first down.
And Jason Campbell takes another hit even when he dumps this ball off to Marcel Reese. He's able to elude a defender in the backfield and gets close to picking up a first down. In fact, they're going to give it to him.
So Campbell has thrown 2 touchdown passes. McFadden has 2 touchdowns on the ground and through the air. Garrard with 3 touchdown passes for Jacksonville. First and 10 from a 28. They blow it dead. False start, Oakland.
False start, number 69, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Let's go to James Brown in our CBS studio.
Kevin and Solomon, after Donovan McNabb hooks up with Santana Moss to draw the Skins within 1 with 9 seconds left, they botch the PAT. The ball goes through the holder's hands and on the ground, saying, "Oh no," is Graham Gano. The Redskins lose it by 1 to Tampa. Back to Kevin and Solomon.
The Bucs are 8-5.
They're the youngest team in the National Football League, but still going on the road and coming away with huge wins.
With McFadden, first and 15. McFadden with a block. It's almost picked off again. That time, Darryl Smith just about had it. The all-time leading Jacksonville tackler.
Sometimes you can go to the well one too many times. The linebacker Smith in coverage against Zach Miller, watching flash, and he just dropped that one. If he makes the catch, he walks into the end zone. It's just a good read in pass coverage by Darryl Smith. Very heady veteran linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Four in the secondary on second down and 15. Campbell. That's a reception made by Lewis Murphy. And he is up to the 35. He picks up 12 on the play. The coverage by Derek Cox.
And despite the turnover by Hugh Jackson's offense after the interception from Kyle Bowler, the defense gets the ball back with 4 minutes. I think you've got to go into that 4-minute offense and try to use this possession to get it into the end zone. But they have to pick up the tempo and get the offense rolling.
Middleton is the extra defensive back. It is third down and 3. First down catch and a beauty. Murphy across the middle. It's a 10-yard pickup. They were working on Middleton, the extra defensive back, to the 46.
And watch Murphy. He's one of the more polished veteran wide receivers. Even though he's in his second year, there is no real true veteran amongst this wide receiving group, and I think they consider him to be the most polished. You can see him going right into the teeth of the defense to make that catch.
Couple tight ends, first and 10. Raiders with a single timeout. Wide open, that's the fullback, Reese. Holding on for dear life is Cox. That's a gain of 13, another first down to the 41-yard line of Jacksonville. Well, McFadden with the 2 touchdowns, 67-yard catch and run, 51-yard run. Garrard with 3 touchdowns today and a pick. Jones drew the 71 yards. First and 10. This is McFadden. To the 36-yard line on the play. It's a pickup of 5. And McFadden always tough to bring down. Linebackers got him that time.
We talked about Jacksonville needing to get the stops in the fourth quarter. They came away with the interception on the previous Oakland Raider possession, but now they find themselves back out there. They need one more stop, one more important turnover for Jack Del Rio to secure a win at home.
Second down and 5. McFadden. Oh, dancing free in the secondary, and there he goes. He gets by Carey, stiff arms his way in for the 36-yard touchdown run. And the Raiders have come to within a point. As Bill King might say, holy Toledo.
Wow. And this is like a video game. Watch this. He hits the B button, spin there, and then the move at the second level, and then watch the wicked stiff arm. You go reaching, and then they're going to put a hand in your face and push you off the legs. Gets it into the end zone. Huge run by Darren McFadden.
His third touchdown today. He had a 51-yard run earlier, a 36-yard one before this to tie by Janikowski with 1:53 to play, which will constitute our 2-minute warning. The Raiders have come back. McFadden has had a monster day for Oakland. Heavy playoff implications here in Jacksonville. The Jaguars in first place by a half game over second place Indianapolis, who won Thursday. Oakland is tied at 6-6 with San Diego, 2 games in back of Kansas City. Later today on CBS, the Chiefs at San Diego. The ensuing kickoff from the 5, Janikowski to Kareem, getting a block. Janikowski to try to stop, and then Huff can't get him, and down the sideline, Rock Cartwright knocks him out of bounds. Oh, what a return by the rookie, Kareem. 65-yard kickoff return, and he puts the Jacksonville Jaguars at the 16-yard line.
And wow, we've seen a number of big plays in this game. And how about Kareem setting the offense up, not with just good field position, but really getting them into field goal range with that kickoff return.
They changed it. They changed the position. They're going to put him at the 30, saying he was out of bounds at the 30. We had one official who was downfield at the 16, waving him off. They said he was out before that. So at the 30, it is 1st and 10 with Jones-Drew in the backfield. A 65-yard return. And Maurice Jones-Drew with a pick. He's gone for the touchdown. A 30-yard touchdown run by Maurice Jones-Drew. And the Jaguars have recaptured the lead.
The power inside running game. Both running backs now for Jacksonville are over 100 yards rushing in this game. Now watch him cut it back. You overrun it, he'll make you pay, and then he beats your safety, Stevie Brown, at the second level of the defense. He walks in untouched. Just a good job of blocking up front on the offensive line. This is what the Jacksonville Jaguars do. They break your back in the fourth quarter with the running game.
Here's the Scobie extra point. The 65-yard kickoff return by Deji Kareem. And then the blast of 30 yards by Maurice Jones-Drew. 6 consecutive games over 100 yards. But that big run right there puts the Jaguars on top. Now Cable and the Raiders with 1 timeout and down by 7.
Minute 34 to go in this game, and the Raiders' playoff hopes, well, they hang by a thread. Jacksonville hoping to improve to 8-5 with a win today, and I think if you're the Raiders, you're 6-6. If you fall to 6-7 in this game, I don't want to say your playoff hopes are over, but I think it's going to be tough sledding with games against Denver, Indy, and then you finish up on the road at Arrowhead Stadium against the Kansas City Chiefs.
So many big plays today. Now everything is in his hands for the Oakland Raiders, who had led earlier in the game. Then Jacksonville came back to take a lead in the second half for the first time, 28-24, on a 10-yard touchdown pass by Garrard.
Kevin, we said at the top that it was up to Jason Campbell to take his team on the road in the Eastern time zone and win a ball game. After a successful week in San Diego, he's going to have a shot with a minute 34 to go.
And the Scobie kickoff. And Ford from the 13 for the Raiders. Adam Eugene offering a block and just runs out of real estate across the way. A 27-yard return. And then you see Kareem. He's the guy that had the kickoff return the other way for Jacksonville, which set up the touchdown run of 30 yards by Maurice Jones-Drew. All right, take us inside his hat now with the timeout and down by 7.
I think they're going to do a wonderful job of trying to check the ball down to Darren McFadden. But don't forget, we've seen the 5'9" Jacoby Ford in moments like this make big-time plays for Jason Campbell, running down the field and making catches over the top of defensive backs.
Michael Bush at the side of the quarterback. Campbell, 1st and 10 from the 40. And looking downfield and through the hands of intended receiver Darius Hayward-Bay. Nice coverage across the way in the secondary. Derek Cox was there. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, they'll get some pressure in the face of Campbell a little bit there. You see taking a shot over to the left side. I thought he had Jacoby Ford over to the right side of the field. And that ball went right through the hands of Darius Hayward-Bay.
With Bush at his side, Campbell 2nd down and 10. Looked like Walker may have moved. No yellow on the field. That is caught. Lewis Murphy. Considine makes the hit at the 45, 15-yard pickup. Raiders with a single timeout. You see the clock ticking down. Murphy with a big-time catch.
I thought I saw some movement on that right side of the offensive line as well from Langston Walker.
1st and 10. Incomplete, out of the range of the receiver, the intended receiver. Lewis Murphy with the coverage by Rasheem Mathis. Clock is stopped at 51.
Jack Del Rio and that defense. If you're Tom Cable, you got to know they want to go with their sub packages, so they're going to blitz. And they're going man-to-man underneath with a cover 2 and 2 deep safeties over the top. They're well aware of the speed of the Oakland Raider wide receivers and their willingness to take a shot throwing the ball down the field.
McFadden is back in the game. 4 in the secondary. Campbell studies it all. 2nd and 10. Nice move up. Lewis Murphy. Submarines to the 36. A pickup of 9. Middleton was there. Clock continues to roll. A timeout remains for Oakland. 3rd and 1.
And it's 3rd down. You've got to go ahead and run a play, but you have to do it quickly.
McFadden in the backfield. A lot of time taken up right there. They get the 1st down. Murphy with Middleton shoving him out of bounds. So the clock will stop. He's to the 33. He picks up 4. 18 seconds to play with a single Raider timeout.
Tom Cable, I think you have to be aware if you're Jason Campbell. Most likely you're going to get zone coverage on the back end from the Jacksonville Jaguars. If they want to get pressure, they're going to have to blitz, and most of the time that blitz will declare itself early, so you have to understand what you want to do against man pressure as opposed to the zone look from the Jaguars defense.
Tom Cable and his team coming in 6-6 after a terrific win last week in San Diego. They have really turned the corner, and Cable at the heart of that turnaround for Oakland. Former line coach, former offensive coordinator at UCLA. What a game full of big plays. McFadden with 3 touchdowns, a catch and run of 67 early in the game, a 51-yard touchdown run, a 36-yard touchdown run. Garrard has thrown 3 touchdown passes to Lewis, Hill, and Sims Walker. And then Maurice Jones-Drew with a burst down the middle, a 30-yard romp, and that gave Jacksonville their current lead. Jacksonville in first place this deep in the season for the first time since 1999. They got that half-game lead over the Colts, who won on Thursday night. And that guy and his team, the 6-6 Raiders, tied with the 6-6 San Diego Chargers. 2 games and back at first place, Kansas City in the West. 1st and 10. 18 seconds to play. Hit. Oh, and he's brought down. Mincy gets some timeout. That's their last one right there. 11 seconds on the clock. It was Jeremy Mincy who brings him down. A career-high 5th sack for him. 3rd sack today authored by the Jacksonville D.
Mincy, remember, he's in for Aaron Catman. Catman Pro Bowler and real veteran defensive lineman Mincy comes in playing for him, the third-year player out of Florida, and he's able to get the sack on Campbell. I think Campbell holds on to the ball too long and takes a costly sack, taking them really deep away from the end zone, and now they're just going to have to take a shot with 11 seconds to go.
Losses back to the 39. Raiders took over on their own 40 with 1:34 left. Upcoming the 7th play of the drive. In what has been a game of explosive plays. Second down, 17. 6 defensive backs. Make it 7. 7 defensive backs. Campbell, Ford, brought down immediately. They can't stop the clock. And Jacksonville has won. The game-winning play, a 30-yard touchdown run by Maurice Jones-Drew in a thriller in northern Florida today, in a heartbreaking loss for Tom Cable and his Raiders, who now go to 6-7. Jacksonville holds on to first place in the South. They go to 8-5.
Take a look at this play. This ball has to be thrown in the end zone, Kevin. There's no way you're going to be able to catch it and then call a timeout in time with 11 seconds to go.
Big time game. Garrard, 3 touchdown passes. Jones-Drew, the winning touchdown run. For Solomon Wilcox, Kevin Harlan saying so long. You've been watching the NFL on